For Florida State to beat Miami, the key will be the offense getting a fast start.
You are Locked On Seminoles, your daily podcast on the Florida State Seminoles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Seminoles. I am your host, Brian Smith, longtime college football recruiting analyst. Thank you for making Locked On Seminoles a part of your day each and every day right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. We are brought to you by our friends over at Mazda. Like our players, we split every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. Mazda, move and be moved. We're going to be talking about my final score prediction for Florida State in Miami a little bit later in the show. And to get there, we're going to talk about the offense. It's going to be the key. And then the defense, what they have to do. I've got 5 points for each. And we start with this first one. And this is the most important thing that you should take from the show. For the Noles to win, the offense has to be very good in the first quarter and a half, period. Fast start. That means the crowd is energized. That means Miami has to do something they haven't done all year. Play from behind. Make the Hurricanes feel uncomfortable. When they dictate the pace, they're a problem. They have a ton of talent. They've got a lot of veterans. That is a team that knows how to play with the lead and grind you into the dirt. Florida State has to get out to an early lead. It's still possible they could win coming from behind. True. But their best odds, not just a good start. I mean on fire. First couple drives need to be touchdowns, period. If they are not, you put the situation of all the scripted plays that you set up for, all the things that you used to get that lead, all that practice time is wasted. You must get touchdowns right out of the gate. Is it going to be easy? Of course not. You're playing your rival, a team that is very good. But Gus Malzahn has a knack, for whatever the reason, in major games of coming up with really good play calls, good designs, and quite frankly, just using stuff that he hasn't shown on film during that season. He's going to have some of those. Do the players execute it? Again, first 2 drives for the Florida State offense need to be touchdowns. No field goals, no punts, no turnovers, touchdown and touchdown. If they do that, yes, I think they will win. Is that a situation that I expect? Not necessarily. You got to earn it. After last week's debacle in terms of their lack of effort and mental focus in the first quarter, I'm like everybody else. You got to prove it to me. And the Florida State players got to prove it to themselves and their coaches. It's not a lack of talent. They'd already proven what they could do. And even after missteps against Virginia, they still have the number 1 offense in the country. Florida State is capable, but now will they do it? So let's break it down into 5 points here that we're going to talk about, because if Florida State can get off to a fast start, these are going to be keys. And number 1 is by a mile, Tommy's decision-making, getting in and out of the good plays based on the fronts that the Hurricanes are showing, getting in and out of plays just in terms of whether he throws it away. He's done a good job of this all year. Throw it away, scramble, etc. No dumb turnovers. Don't force it. Don't force it. Punt the football. It's a big game. Too bad if they make the play. You just got to tip your cap. Tommy's been really good at this all year. But will he do it in the biggest game he's going to play this year? Miami versus Florida State. This is your rivalry game. This is when a lot of guys will wilt. There's a certain guy in Happy Valley that wilts under this pressure. I don't think Tommy's that player, and that's why I think Florida State has a chance to win this game. Number 2, this is the one I already kind of mentioned, but it's just true. Gus Malzahn schemes it up really well. He has for his whole career, especially in big games. He saves stuff. Every coach says that they don't. They're all liars. He's going to have something a little bit special for Miami. 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 play calls that he sends into Tommy that has a chance to catch them, not necessarily sleeping, but surprised to a certain degree. Whether it's a reverse, a halfback pass, I don't know what it's going to be. It may just be a basic concept that they use, but they change the formation to hide it. It doesn't always have to be the Statue of Liberty pass or an end around. It doesn't have to be stuff like that. You can do small things with formations and shifts to out-leverage your opposition. And Florida State speed and talent can take over from there. I expect Malzahn to have a couple of trick plays, sure. More importantly, I think it's going to be the stuff that really you make your money on. Shifts, basic alignments that some of the players from Miami may or may not recognize, and just out-leveraging them. Allow Florida State speed, especially Mekhi Danzy. Yeah, that's a difference maker. Get him in space. Get Jalen Lucas. That's another guy in space. They have to make plays then. They're certainly capable. They've showed it this year. They both have been very good. And then the X factor, the one that I think is just a super underrated player, Randy Pittman. That guy could play running back at Florida State. That guy could play outside linebacker. He's just a football player. He had a rushing touchdown, a passing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown against Virginia. Football player. I'm curious to see what he does. And really the tight ends. I talked about that earlier this week. Do you get the tight ends loose? If you do, it's going to make it a lot harder. Miami is an extremely heavy zone team, primarily cover 3 because, again, they're very talented. They just rush 4, and they get almost identical pressure with 4 as they do when they blitz. That's how good their down 4 has been. That's an insane stat, by the way. If Florida State is not able to run the ball early and just kind of keep them off balance when they do pass, that front can eat you up. Really good football players. All of them will make it to the NFL in some capacity that start. So Florida State's going to have to really come up with not just good scheme, not just good effort. Everything's got to work together. Again, it's possible. You got the number 1 offense in the country for a reason. Now you got to show it against a really high-level defense that's been congruent. I mean, they've played well. They've tackled well. Give Miami credit. But again, with Gus scheming it up and the playmakers you have, it comes down to just one-on-one matchups. Offensive tackles against Ruben Bain. I think that's probably, if I had to circle one guy on FSU's offense beyond Tommy, he's the quarterback, throw that out, it's Micah Pettis, the right tackle. He's going to see Ruben Bain a lot. Good luck. He's the number 1 run defender in the country as a down lineman. Number 1 by PFF. His grade's like 92, 93, somewhere in there. He's tremendous. And that's a young man that I do believe is going to be fired up. Bain almost came to Florida State. He's a South Florida kid. He's recruited by Alabama, Florida State, the traditional schools. This game means a lot to him too. Really curious to see how Pettis handles him. Into that point, Gunnar Hansen as well. They may need a little help here and there on passing downs, but in the run game, you've got to make them pay. You can't allow Bain to dictate things. So let's see how Pettis, Hansen, and everybody does in that situation. Third downs are easier when you do good on first down. And Florida State's a run-first team. Straightforward. 4.5 yards or more carry. From the outset of the game, there's no working into it. Again, you got to score early. Make Miami feel the pressure. Make them feel awkward from playing behind. Minimum 4.5 yards per carry. Minimum. If that's not the case, again, you're going to be put into a lot of difficult situations, and then Bain is better. Akeem Messidor, the other defensive end, really good player. He's even better. If they don't have to worry about the run, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. Must average minimum 4.5 yards per carry on first down runs. And if you do, then your playbook is wide open. You get up into that close to the 5. If they can get over 5 a carry in the first down, then you're just doing what you want. But if not, it's going to be hard. This is the one that I'm not sure how it will go. Does FSU handle Miami's stunts very well? They play a lot of line games. Again, they're super conservative in the back end defensively. Super conservative. Why? They're rushing 4 and getting a ton of pressure. Occasionally they'll blitz, but overall they just have to rush 4 and get pressure. If you do not handle their stunts, this game will not go well for Florida State. They'll get beat double digits. Straight up, no ifs, no ands, no buts. They will eat you up. They make tackles in the backfield. They don't let quarterbacks go. They don't miss. They are tremendous at getting the quarterback to the ground and getting hits. Must handle the stunts. And then finally, this is the one I'm not sure exactly how Gus will do it. This is a combination of things. Pass protection's got to be good. Routes got to be good. Tommy's got to be on time. Make the right decisions. Going back to that. And then you got to connect on deep balls against even some of the cover 3, which is designed straight up to take away that. FSU is going to have to hit a couple 50-50 balls. My guy's not open. I'm going to give him a chance. Either you get a flag or you get a reception. They're going to have to hit some of those. You're not going to score on 12, 14 play drives over and over against Miami's talent. That's not realistic. You've got to be able to throw the ball down the field. When we come back, going to flip it around. What does Florida State's defense have to do to help the offense not only get the ball back, but get the crowd into it and give Doak Campbell Stadium that electric feeling that it can have? It was really loud for Bama. Could it be even louder? We're going to talk about that next here on Locked On Seminoles. Today's show is brought to you by Mazda, who crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but, from smooth handling to intuitive controls. With all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda. Move and be moved. We are also brought to you by DoorDash. It's almost the weekend, time to look back and crown this week's MVP, Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving you more every time you order. These players deliver when it mattered most, so let's break it down. I already talked about it for a minute. For Florida State, Randy Pittman threw a touchdown pass. Randy Pittman caught a touchdown pass to put the game into overtime, and he also ran one in. That is an all-around game. He did everything that he could. The H-back / tight end / just do everything player for Florida State is a tremendous football player. And just like Randy Pittman delivered for Florida State, DoorDash delivers for your Saturdays. We're DoorDash Streaks. Every Saturday you order, you can stack it up all season, and you can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo code GOOD through November the 18th. Thank you once again for making Locked On Seminoles a part of your day each and every day right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm Brian Smith, longtime college football recruiting analyst. Thank you for making Locked On Seminoles a part of your day. Please like and subscribe to the show. Now let's flip it around here. Talk a little defense. The Noles can do a lot of different things defensively to improve. But number one, they just can't give up the big plays. And all in what I'm getting ready to say, it still goes back to that. Miami hasn't been a quote-unquote big play offense, and they've been really good. So don't help them. Just put that in the back of your mind. Don't allow Miami any freebies. Because quite honestly, the way I look at it, I'm more concerned about a 7-yard hitch route turning into a 50-yard touchdown because Florida State didn't tackle well last week. Don't make it worse. If they complete a pass, cool. If they make a nice run, cool. Don't accentuate the problem by poor tackling. That's on you. I said prove it at the beginning of the show, and I meant it. Florida State has to prove it after last week. Everybody, myself included, are questioning you because you really gave us a reason to. The way you had lack of effort and focus is why I'm bringing it up that way. Here's number one, though. FSU cannot slow down UM's run game and expect to win. It's pretty much the same on both sides of the ball. We have to run the ball better than they do. These are two of the best run games in the country. Both are elite. They just do it in different tempos. Per carry, per situation, Miami's just as good or better than Florida State, but they play at a very slow pace. They don't try to go fast. So FSU's numbers are better. Be careful with that. Numbers can lie because it's about per possession and situations. Here's what I mean. Florida State wants the 12-play drive every time. Or Miami, they want a 12-play drive every time. They're trying to give their defense as much time to rest as possible. This is the most old-school football team in the country by a mile. Miami is the most conservative offense and defense combined. They play well together in the country. Super conservative. They want to beat you with just raw talent and wait for you to make an error. It's a pretty open book, but they execute. You got to give them credit. You must find a way to not just slow down their run game, but really make the key plays. If they get a 7-yard run on first down, Miami just might run it again. They're not necessarily looking to take deep shots. They might take a few. But Florida State's defense is pretty conservative, like Miami's. I don't think they're going to throw it down the field a ton unless they really get behind. You've got to be able to come back on that 2nd and 3 play and stuff them. You need some plays behind the line. Again, get Doak Campbell Stadium rocking. If you don't, it's on you. Again, you have to prove it. I'm going to come back and say that about 50 times during this podcast. It's on the players. I trust in Tony White's scheme. Last week, the scheme worked out pretty good. The tackling did not. It's not like they didn't practice it all fall camp, all summer and everything else. You're getting in shape for this. They didn't prove it against Virginia, and Miami's got more good running backs than even Virginia does. I like Virginia's backs, but they're not as good as Miami's from a depth perspective. They got 3 guys. They're really good. You better be ready to tackle and hit them in the hole and knock them back. Miami can't be following forward like Virginia did in this last game. So just like I said with Miami trying to slow down FSU's run game, the Noles need at least 4.5 yards of carry. It's the same kind of situation. You got to hold them under 4. You're not going to just dominate Miami's front. That's not realistic. But stunts, blitzes, and scheme, you're going to see something different this week from Tony White. I'm almost assured of it. And if you don't, yours truly will light him up in the postgame show. You're not going to come out and play generic 3- and 4-man front every single play and slow down Miami. That's not an objective you should try. Again, I'll be the first one to throw Tony White under the bus if that's what he tries. You have to make them beat you through the air. And if they do, you tip your cap. Not necessarily stack the box per se, but I expect them to play just a million different games with the safeties coming back and forth to try to confuse the blocking. I don't think you really mess with Carson Beck that much. He's seen about everything. Make those linemen think, even if they get the right block, is it a half step slow? You need penetration. You need tackles for loss. It is absolutely paramount. Number 2, after you create the chaos, Carson Beck's good, but at least make it freaking hard on him. 3rd and 6 is not near as much fun as 3rd and 3. That's it. This isn't a rocket science adventure. Make him throw the ball beyond just a check down to get 3 yards or something, or a quick slant. Make it be a true route that's more than 5 yards on a lot of the 3rd downs. And again, if Miami completes those, it is what it is. Do not let them be in 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, or even 3rd and 3 very much. Make them throw it on 3rd down. First point and second point go hand in hand. Again, Carson Beck, all the respect, very good football player. Show him different things on 3rd downs too. At least try to confuse him a little bit. I doubt they do much, but if you can confuse him, you have a chance to even if it's just one play. He's thrown the ball to the wrong team a few times. If you confuse him and get 1 turnover, that might be the difference in the game. By the way, my pet peeve here, do not drop interceptions. Florida State's dropped too many opportunities this year. Absolutely cannot happen in this game. If there's a ball coming your way, you must pick it. End of story. Number 3, turnovers in general. Just said it. Must capitalize. There's nothing more to this. Miami's a very good football team. If you hand them extra opportunities, you'll lose. You'll lose. Capitalize. Number 4, if the pass rush struggles, it's a problem. But more than anything, when you do have a chance to get in Carson Beck's face, even if it's not a sack, get your hands up. Deflections is everything else. Kind of going back to that prior point. Sometimes the best plays when you don't get the sack. It sounds weird, but a quarterback, even a grad student like Beck, I believe he's a 6th-year senior, throw it up and it doesn't go well. It's part of it. Sometimes a deflection can end up being a pick 6. It goes beyond sacks. They've got to create more pressure somehow with 4. I've been very disappointed with Florida State in that regard. We're going to see some different looks from Coach White. But can you create pressure that leads to turnovers? That's a checkbox. We'll see if it happens. And then finally, when Miami does make it to the red zone, this is an old adage. I'm not really making any news flash here. Just make them kick field goals. And above all else, they can't just power the ball into the end zone. Florida State's got to bow up or they're in trouble. If they don't deserve to win, and they could lose by double digits. The run defense in the red zone, that's where it begins. But do not discount Miami's ability with the receivers. I've heard JoJo Trader will be back. He's a very talented redshirt freshman. CJ Daniels is a good player. Malachi Tony. They got good players at wide receiver. I don't think anybody's dominant, but with their run game, anybody is a possibility to get loose. And watch out for Elijah Lofton. Very good player as well. H-back. He could play a little running back too. Tight end. Might use him in the slot. I could see them going play action with him kind of out in the flat. Florida State's going to be up against, but above all else, you cannot allow them just to play bully ball and get the ball into the end zone that way. When we come back, I'm going to give my prediction on Florida State versus Miami. Today's show is brought to you by Peloton. It's shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. It's their most advanced equipment yet. designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors. This is a training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan, stay motivated, and reach peak performance. The ability for you to go out and work hard is one thing, but when you've got somebody coaching you, giving you different ideas on what's the best way to get your calories up and burning them, Peloton's going to give you that opportunity. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus today at One Peloton. All right, here's my prediction for Florida State and Miami, and I'm just going to give the bottom line. Miami's the more consistent team. They haven't shot themselves in the foot very much. They're the one that has earned respect. Duly. Florida State, meanwhile, while they came out like gangbusters their first few games, they didn't prove anything last week other than they can commit very foolish penalties in the most critical times. Turnovers, drops, missed run gap fits, and the one thing that I harped on all week, missed tackles. All those things led to a game that you should have won by 17, maybe 3 touchdowns, going into overtime, and you lost. Florida State deserved to lose. And that's why I say the following. Prove it. You have to prove it to me. You have to prove it to yourselves, your fans, everybody. And it's also why I led off the show with the whole point about the first 2 drives. To really get the crowd into it, don't score a touchdown and a field goal. You need 2 touchdowns your first 2 drives. You need an electric atmosphere. Florida State has to earn it. That's all there is to it. They're capable. They got the number 1 offense in the country, even after all the disaster last week. Florida State has been hot and cold. Will they be consistent this week? I need to see it, and that's why I've got the Noles coming up with a loss here. 31-28, I've got Miami over Florida State. I think it'll be a great game. But right now, I trust Miami to be the one that executes better. I know that's a boring answer, but they are the team that executes more, and it really might just come down to them not making a play as much as Florida State shooting themselves in the foot. It could just be a false start penalty. It could be a late hit out of bounds, whatever. Florida State just found ways to really let themselves down against Virginia. Virginia's not in the same stratosphere as Florida State talent-wise, and they lost. No more mental errors, and Florida State had so many. I just need to see it. I could be wrong, but right now I've got Miami winning 31-28. We'll see. And just as a reminder, just like every other game, afterwards, immediately thereafter, I'll have a post-game show. I'll set it up on Saturday morning, if not later on Friday, for the show to run on YouTube, and then I'll post it later that night as well. But thank you once again for making Locked On Seminoles a part of your day each and every day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Please like, subscribe, and share this podcast. And if you're on Apple, hit that automatic download. We will see you again soon here on Locked On Seminoles.